Hi class, let me make another video for chapter 8 homework. To find the chapter 8 class videos, you can either go to the announcement to find the links to the class videos for on-campus class, or you can go to jufinance.com, this is my personal website, and click on this fin510 on-campus class spring 2019. So you drag down and go down to the bottom of this website. So there are 3 parts for this class video for this chapter. So you can click on these links to find the class videos for on-campus class. For the homework, you can find it should be the same. Might be some slight difference to the questions posted for homework for the online class, but it's here. Let's just quickly get it done together. Let me show you how to do that. The first question. So this chapter is about the stock pricing. So you can also find the help from the calculators I made for the stock calculation, or I found for the stock calculation. So it's you go to jufinance.com. So for you see from the stock calculation part, under the stock calculation part, so you can find this dividend growth model. This is the calculator we're using for this chapter. The non-constant growth calculator is the next one, and is for non-constant growth of dividend. It's beyond this class, but however, if you're interested, you can take a look. Anyhow, we're using dividend growth model. Use this calculator. So you see the factors for this model is either D1, which is a dividend for the next period, or D0. D0 is the current dividend, or the company just paid a dividend. That's D0. Growth rate is how much is the growth rate of dividend. Required rate of return is stockholder stock rate of return. Price is how much is the stock should be selling for. So if you know any 3 of the variables here, you can figure out the one that's not known, and you can click on that one on the button for that variable that's not known, and you can get the answer. Also, there's the equation used for this calculator. So you see there's a dividend yield equation is here. Capital gain yield equation. Capital gain yield is just because stock price is increasing or decreasing. So there is a return to shareholders because of based on the price. Dividend yield is return to the shareholders based on dividend. So if we add dividend yield with capital gain yield, that equals to this R, required return. So this is all the equations we needed here. Yeah, let's you can use these equations to do the calculation, or you can plug into these calculators to do this calculation. Okay, let's do that. The first question, the company just paid $2.80. Since the company recently paid, so this happens already, so this dividend should be D0. So D0 should be 2.8, and the dividend increases at an average rate of 3.8%. This is a growth rate, 3.8%, and the stock is currently selling for $26.91. So this is stock price P0, $26.91. So the question is asking is how much is the stock return. So based on dividend growth model, P0 should equals to D1 over R minus G, where D0 multiplied by 1 plus G over R minus G. So you can plug in the numbers. So it's 2.8 for D0. G is 3.8. Over R minus G. R is not known. Minus G, 3.8%. So we can, from this equation, P0 is known, equals to 2691. So you see, from this equation, the only variable that's not known is this R. Or, you can find the R equation from the class website, or you can find the equations from the textbook also. Anyhow, it's not so difficult to derive the equations for R based on this equations for P0. R should equals to D0 1 plus G over P0 plus G, right? So this should be the equation. So it should be 2.8 times 1 plus 3.8% over 2691 plus G is 3.8%. So this should be our answer, right? So you see, we can break down the return to shareholders into, the first part is called dividend yield, plus the second part, which is it's called capital gain yield. Capital gain yield is just stock price increases, which is equals to G in this case. So this is our equation. So the answer to this question should be this part. So we're just using one simple equation, dividend growth model equation. We can derive return from that equation. Okay, so the second question, the dividend is increasing by 4.1% per year. So that's a G. That's a G is given 4.1%. Okay, and the return, stock return is 12.6%. Stock price is $24.90. So it's asking for next dividend. D1 is the question mark. How much is D1? So what to do for this one? So we can also start from the equation. P0 equals to D1 over R minus G. So we can derive the equations for D1. D1 should equals to P0 times R minus G. So it equals to 24.90 times R minus G. So the answer to this question should be here. So this should be the D1. Okay, so this is the second question. The third one, IBM just paid $3 of dividend per share to investors. So, let's, for the first question, let's try to use the calculator and do the calculation. You see, 2.8 is annual dividend, but this is D0 here, 2.8. Okay. So D0 is 2.8. Growth rate. Growth rate is 3.8%. Stock price is given. Stock price $26.91. So it's asking for R. So 14.60. You click on R, and this is this one. So it is right. Second question. So it's asking for how much is D1, but we know the price, $24.90, and we know R, and we also know G here. So let's clear them. P is $24.90. R is 12.60%. And the G is 4.1. And this question is asking for D1, asking for how much is D1. So we need to change this to D1 and click on dividend. Oh yeah, so I can't leave space. Yeah, I cannot leave space for numbers. 2.12 is D1, but you have to change to D1. So if you want to know how much is D0, 2.03. So you see the question is asking for how much is D1, so switch to D1 for this one. Okay, so you see it's quite convenient to use the calculator. The third question, IBM just paid dividend of $3, so you know this is D0. Dividend growth rate is 10%. So what is the next period dividend? D1 is how much? We can use calculator for this case, but since we know dividend growth model is based on the assumption dividend follows the pattern, which is like it increases from the previous year at the rate of G every year. So each year dividend is going to be increasing at the growth rate, at the constant growth rate every year. In this case, dividend is going to be 10% higher than the prior period dividend. So in this case, D0 is 3, D1 should be 10% more. So we can do this calculation. D1 should be 3 and increase at 10%. So this should be the answer. You can use calculators to figure out this one. Question number 4. The current market price of stock is $50, and the stock is expected to pay dividend of $2. So P0 is 50, and the stock is expected to pay dividend of $2. So that means its D1 is 2. G is 6%. So how much is R? So these are the inputs. So we know the equation R should equal to D1 over P0 plus G. So it should equal to 2 by 40 divided by 40 plus 6%. This should be our answer to this question. Or let's try the calculator. So D1 is $2. D1 is $2. So, and 6% for G, and stock price is 50. 6% is for G, and stock return is the question mark, and 50 is the stock price. Now let's click on this R button. Okay, yeah, it's okay, it has to be number. Something was wrong. Make sure only numbers are inputs. 6. Yeah. So it probably with recognizing some space in front of the numbers, that's why it's not working. But anyhow, it's 10%. for this one if you use the calculator. Okay, for the next question, how much is the stock price if the stock return, this is earns 15% of return, so R is 15%. Just pay dividend, so this is D0 is $6. G is 6%. And so the question is asking how much is P0. And so we can just plug in this equation, dividend growth model, D0, 1 plus G over R minus G, so equals to 1 plus 6% over 15% minus 6%. So this should be our answer, right? So we can also use the calculator. 15%, 6%, and dividend for D0. Okay, 15%, 6%, 15%, and that's D0. D0 is $6. So the question is asking for how much is the price? $70.67. So yeah. So this is the help for this homework. And in the quiz, there are a couple of questions asking you, for example, how much is the capital gain yield? How much is the dividend yield? Let's use this example to calculate the capital gain yield and dividend yield. In this case, we just got R equals to, if you do the calculation, 14.60%. This is R. Okay, and we can break down this R into two parts. One is dividend yield, and another one is called capital gain yield. Capital gain yield. Dividend yield should equals to, so if it's asking you for how much is dividend yield, you just use D1 over P0. That will give you dividend yield. In our case, in this case, it should be 2.8, but this is D1, D0, so it has to multiply by 1 plus G. G is 3.8% over P0, 26.91. So this is our dividend yield. How much is our capital gain yield? For if you're using dividend growth model, capital gain yield is always equals to G. So that means dividend growth rate equals to G equals to stock price growth rate. So the next period dividend and the next period stock price should increase at the rate of G also. So G is not only for dividend growth rate, it's also the stock price growth rate or capital gain yield. So since this is a rule for if you're using dividend growth model. So another way to figure out the dividend yield is just use R, subtract G. So this is dividend yield. So in our case, it should be 14.6% minus 3.8%. So if you use both approach, this is just based on the equation, or just getting the difference between the stock return and the dividend and the dividend growth rate, and the difference will be dividend yield. So this is, I just want to bring up like your attention to the concept of capital gain yield and also dividend yield. Okay, that's all for this video, for the help for Chapter 8 homework. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. Have a good day.